So, we've got to spend a little more time talking about this Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo situation because new details continue to surface. According to multiple reports, Tyler Hero had been frustrated for quite some time that Bam never publicly defended him during the constant trade rumors over the past few years. Reports also suggest he kept those feelings to himself until everything finally reached a breaking point. We also saw emotions spill over during Summer League. There's even video showing Davion Mitchell watching from the sidelines and appearing to react to Tyler Hero after the exchange with Bam Adebayo, with many viewers interpreting it as him trolling the situation. A lot of people have already weighed in on everything that's happened. Now, though, Draymond Green has entered the conversation, and he isn't exactly happy with comments Udonis Haslem made in the past. Draymond wants to know whether Udonis is going to bring the same energy when it comes to the reported incident involving Bam and Tyler. We're going to play what Udonis said back then, and then we'll take a look at Draymond's response. One of Draymond's biggest arguments centers around the confrontation between Jimmy Butler and Udonis Haslem several years ago. His point is that Udonis had no problem getting in the face of a younger teammate at the time, even though Jimmy Butler was actually 32 years old, making it a completely different situation than the one involving Bam and Tyler. Jimmy also isn't someone most people consider an easy target. If that confrontation had truly escalated, there's little doubt Jimmy would have stood his ground and responded just as aggressively. On top of that, several former players, including Kenyon Martin, have previously argued that Draymond Green tends to be selective about who he confronts. They often compare the way he handled Rudy Gobert with how he reacted around Isaiah Stewart. When Isaiah Stewart looked ready to escalate things, Draymond's approach appeared noticeably different. But against Rudy Gobert, Draymond was willing to wrap an arm around his neck. Critics have pointed to that incident, along with a few others, as evidence that he sometimes chooses opponents they believe are less likely to respond physically. We're going to break all of that down, look at both sides of the debate, and check out some of the reactions from around the basketball world. So, with all of that said, let's get into it. Come on, man. We've got to do better, bro.
We got to do better, fellas. Tyler, man, you letting this man punch out on you, man. You in Vegas, man. You don't go take some lessons, man. Come on, man. Y'all ex-teammates, man. Y'all doing too much, man. Y'all done did some special things together. Now y'all around here whooping on each other, man. Y'all, come on, man. Y'all got to do better, man.
Understanding this is all culminating from what happened in the weeks after Tyler Hero was traded from Miami to Milwaukee, when there were some leaked direct messages on Instagram, I believe, where Tyler Hero was critiquing Bam Adebayo and his viability as a $60 million per year player. And Bam Adebayo approached Tyler Hero about this, and they had a back and forth that ended with them getting into it physically, where Bam Adebayo struck Tyler Hero. And, you know, this was at a practice court at Resorts World at the hotel here in Las Vegas. And so there were other players around. There were, obviously there were multiple teams that use these practice courts. And so this was in a pretty public domain.
With his AAU team? Does that sound about right, Joe?
Yeah. Yeah, man. Hey. Listen, I like Tyler Hero. I like his swag. I like everything about him. But that's one thing, hey, bro. You go to talking about guys, some of them dudes gonna make you eat them words you talking about.
And especially talking about his pockets, because you basically talk about like he don't need it.
Yeah. So, hey. Keep your mouth shut. Keep my name out your mouth. You know what I'm talking about? So, hey. Bam ain't playing that, man.
Yeah. Why you think
he
he got the name Bam?
Like you already got some fight right now, because we get this report a couple of minutes ago that Bam and Tyler Hero got into a physical altercation at practice earlier today. So is that at your practice, and what happened?
Yeah, no comment. I don't really know all the specifics.
Now, as I mentioned earlier, Draymond Green took issue with the fact that Udonis Haslem had plenty to say during the Jordan Poole incident. I also want to add a little context to Udonis's comments, because he wasn't talking only about that one situation. At the time, there had been several incidents involving Draymond, and Udonis was really speaking about what he viewed as a larger pattern of behavior rather than focusing on a single altercation. His point was that Draymond seemed to be becoming more and more reckless over time, not that he was criticizing just one isolated moment. So, before we hear Draymond's response, let's first go back and listen to exactly what Udonis said, so we have the full context behind those remarks.
Locker room. We connect the dots. We protect the guys that are in the locker room. We don't go out and we don't start it. We don't look for it, but we damn sure gonna finish it. And I think where Draymond's gotten to the point where he's the initiator, and I think that's not a good thing. You know what I'm saying? I don't think. When I saw the things that are happening, they kind of make me cringe because I put myself in that situation because I'm an OG and I'm a leader. So when I look at Draymond, I try to put myself in his shoes. I don't want to stand at the top and throw rocks.
Right.
I try to put myself in his shoes, and a lot of the decisions that he's making, it just makes me cringe because I can imagine myself the way he hit Jordan Poole. Imagine myself hitting Tyler Hero like that. You know, these are the things that I put myself in his shoes, and I try to understand where he's coming from, and I can never do those things. Like, don't get me wrong, I talk to my therapist, but everything he can't help me with. Some decisions I got to make on my own as a man.
On the association, Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero got into a physical altercation in Las Vegas on Friday, in which allegedly, Bam struck Tyler Hero on a practice court inside Resorts World Casino. I wonder, the one thing that I really started to wonder about was, I remember when I got into it with Jordan Poole, in a little different situation, I guess, because these guys aren't teammates anymore. But similar in the fact that Tyler Hero came up under Bam. He's younger than Bam in the league. Bam has been in interviews speaking with Tyler Hero about how, he got my back, I got his back. And I remember one person when the Jordan Poole incident happened with me who was really, really, really outspoken about it, who like everyone else didn't have a ton of context because you weren't there, but was really outspoken about it. And it really bothered me. Was Udonis Haslem. And the reason it really bothered me is because, man, everybody can have an opinion, and your opinion is what your opinion is, but I saw Udonis Haslem get into it with guys on teams that was younger than him before, a la Jimmy Butler. I had seen that before, and then he came out and he like, that's ridiculous. You get into it with your young guy, I can't believe you did that. And it really bothered me because I was like, damn, man, like, so this dude ain't never been in practice where somebody get into a fight. He ain't never got into a fight in practice, maybe not. He been in Miami the whole time. Maybe they don't have fights in their practice, the heat, what is it? Heat culture or heat wave, or maybe they don't have fights. Like, it really threw me for a loop because, I don't really care what most people say, but when I have respect for certain guys, it does matter when you have respect for guys. They say, and so when I saw that, I was just like, damn, man, this dude doing what everybody else doing, acting like he. And so when I first saw this, I was like, damn, this is two young guys Udonis Haslem raised. And yeah, they not on the same team no more, but if you raise this young guy in the light of what you were saying about me, and now he punches this other young guy that y'all kind of co-raised, are you gonna have that same energy?
Now there are photos circulating online that appear to show swelling underneath Tyler Hero's right eye. If those images are authentic, they would line up with reports claiming Bam Adebayo landed a punch before the two were separated. According to those same reports, Tyler was then escorted away while continuing to yell in Bam's direction. Since this incident took place, it's widely expected that the NBA will review everything before deciding whether any discipline is warranted. Realistically, it seems more likely to result in a fine than a significant suspension. That said, I do want to respond to a few of the points Draymond Green made. Tyler Hero is 26 years old, while Bam Adebayo is 28. That's simply not a large enough age difference to argue that Bam somehow helped raise him. Compare that with Udonis Haslem. During the Heat's championship runs with the Big Three, Bam was still in middle school, around 8th or 9th grade. He graduated high school in 2016, which shows there's a much larger generational gap between him and Udonis. Bam spent 1 season at Kentucky, another recruiting class came through after him, and then Tyler Herro arrived a couple of years later. That's hardly the type of age difference where one player is mentoring the other from childhood. In fact, Bam and Tyler even crossed paths during AAU tournaments while they were still in high school. Because of that, I don't think it's fair to compare their relationship to Draymond Green and Jordan Poole. When Draymond was already playing college basketball, Jordan Poole was still a kid. Those situations just aren't the same. The same goes for Jimmy Butler and Udonis Haslem. Even though Udonis is noticeably older, Jimmy was already 32 years old at the time, while Udonis was around 38 or 39. That's simply 2 grown men having a confrontation, not an older veteran disciplining a young player. Now, I'm not here to completely defend Jordan Poole either. Jordan has always had a reputation for talking a lot, and numerous people around the league have said the same thing over the years. We've seen teammates fight before. Think back to Von Wafer and Delonte West after Shaquille O'Neal helped stir things up, leading to a confrontation that carried into the locker room. There was Kevin Garnett and Wally Szczerbiak getting into it during practice. Then you had Dale Ellis and Xavier McDaniel, who also reportedly fought. Practice fights have been part of NBA history for decades. The biggest difference is that most of those incidents were never caught on camera and shared with millions of people online. That's one reason I'm not overly critical of Draymond Green over the Jordan Poole incident by itself. We also have to remember there were details the public never saw. Back then, people weren't trying to leak every locker room altercation to TMZ or social media. If every practice fight throughout NBA history had been recorded and released, I think a lot of fans would view these situations differently. Even Michael Jordan punching Steve Kerr during practice would probably be viewed through a very different lens if that footage had gone viral in today's social media era. That's why I try not to judge the situation too harshly. Sometimes the player viewed as the team's emotional leader or enforcer feels like he has to establish boundaries. If a younger teammate keeps challenging him and nothing happens, he may believe the rest of the locker room will begin questioning his leadership. From that perspective, he might think other players will continue testing him unless he addresses it immediately. I believe that's probably where Draymond's mindset was in that particular moment. That doesn't mean he hasn't crossed the line at other times. There have absolutely been incidents during games where he went too far, whether it was kicking Steven Adams below the belt or the altercation involving Jusuf Nurkic. I don't necessarily agree with those actions or how far they escalated. At the same time, those opposing players also have to stand up for themselves. So don't misunderstand what I'm saying. When I criticize Draymond, it's because his suspensions have repeatedly put his own team in difficult situations. He's the defensive anchor of those Warriors teams, and every time he's unavailable, it hurts their chances. I'm not saying he shouldn't play with intensity or use his physical style to his advantage. He's undersized for his position, and physicality has always been one of the biggest reasons he's been successful. But in the Jordan Poole situation specifically, I think Draymond reacted the way he believed he needed to in that moment, and I'm not going to completely condemn him for it. With all of that said, I also understand where Udonis Haslem was coming from. Another point Draymond raised was that Udonis and those Miami Heat teams supposedly didn't have those kinds of locker room fights. But if you go back and listen to that podcast episode, they actually talked about James Johnson beating up a teammate after reportedly being called a B. According to the story they told, James confronted the player in the locker room, the fight turned physical, and the teammate ended up leaving in tears. Ever since that story surfaced, fans have tried to figure out exactly which teammate they were referring to. Looking back at those Heat rosters, there are several possibilities. So it's not accurate to say those Heat teams never had internal fights or handled disagreements behind closed doors. The real difference may simply be where those incidents happened. Draymond seemed to be arguing that they weren't taking place out on the practice floor in front of everyone, and that's probably the distinction he was trying to make. At the end of the day, though, fights happen around the NBA far more than most fans realize. Like I've said before, that Jordan Poole video was never meant to become public. Honestly, I'm more disappointed with whoever leaked the footage than I am with the altercation itself. I've never believed Draymond was simply trying to bully Jordan Poole. I think everything surrounding Draymond at that point caused people to interpret it that way.
but anyone who's followed Jordan Poole since his high school days knows he's always been known for talking. If you're going to speak to people a certain way, you also have to be prepared for how they might respond. And if you shove someone after walking up to them, you have to understand that not everyone is going to stop and ask questions before reacting. Sometimes there's no opportunity for anyone to step in and separate things. To me, that also suggests Jordan wasn't expecting what happened next. But that's just my perspective. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video, share it with a friend, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.